In the last week as well, we've come to learn the player of the season for
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal, and it could have easily been Bukayo Saka that we're just here talking about,
Word.
but it wasn't. It was our captain, our talisman, the guy
Mm-hmm.
that's literally leading by example, Martin Ødegaard.
Yeah.
Um, Firstly, when you saw the result, player of the season, what were you thinking? Like, you think about
Yeah. I
fair, or
mean,
do you think it was a toss up or whatever?
I thought it was. I think you know what. At first, I kind of thought it would be a toss up between the front. I think it would be a toss up between, when I say the front three, maybe um, minus Jesus, just because of things we've spoken about, injury and so on and so forth. But I definitely thought you could throw it up between Martinelli, Ødegaard, and Saka, where they've all had kind of periods where they've kind of not produced at the level. But I kind of think that Ødegaard did match it. Just edge it. Sorry, coming in as the captain for this season, looking at his demeanor again, thinking, is he really that type of, leader, etc. But I think if there's anything, he's led by example every single time. I mean, we spoke about it: 15 non-Premier League goals, handful of assists, and I just feel like I'm even surprised when we had him on loan. Again, I've said maybe here or off here, I was leaning more towards Maddison. I was thinking, Maddison, you're going to get end product. He's not someone who hides. Even when the team's playing rubbish, he can perform. And now I'm kind of just seeing that Ødegaard can be that player, is being that player on a more or less week in, week out basis. So I think he deserved it, and probably like the standout, to be honest, because he didn't go hiding in a lot of games. And I think even when there was accusations that he did go hiding, I think it was harsh. I think it was like a team thing. It wasn't like, oh yeah, he can't string a pass together. Not to say there's not weaknesses and things he can't improve on, but yeah, I am very calm that he got the player of the season. I think well deserved.
Yeah, I definitely agree that it's well deserved. He's been fantastic. The main thing that, like you said, a lot of Arsenal fans, the pundits, had against him was he needs to add goals to his game.
Yeah.
And he hadn't been doing that. And this season, it wasn't just a factor of him bettering what he got last season, whatever he got last season, I can't remember. But he surpassed it.
Yeah.
And not at expense to what his bread and butter is, which is his assists.
Yeah.
The assists were there. The key passes, or is that the key passes is what the one before the assist.
The pre-assist.
The pre-assist, if you like, those were there. The goals that he added, again, not penalties or anything like that, and not just in terms of it was some of these were emphatic finishes, like right place, right time, taking his time, showing composure. This wasn't a lot of kind of Frank Lampard-esque, and there's nothing wrong. At the end of the day, a goal is a goal, but it's showing your class when being able to score goals. This was more than someone who's right place, right time. These goals were like, I am training myself on how to be a better goal scorer and put that into my repertoire, sort of thing. He was great. He was absolutely great at a time when we needed him. Can turn to him, pop up with a goal. I think, was it Wolves he scored, or
twice?
He scored twice. Like and someone said, I think that was his first ever brace in his entire career. Like, this man is really shutting up people in terms of adding things to his game that he was not doing before. And it's that kind of constant improvement that we all know for sure Arteta is driving into all of these players. It's almost like, we've already spoken about in the past the challenge he would have set Xhaka of what he needs to do in this 8 role. It's like, this is Ødegaard's own challenge now. You need to score a certain amount of goals and start scoring more goals in your game. Do you think now Ødegaard can go to another level? Do you think he has another level in him when we're bringing in, you'd like to think, better players? Now we've established the structure of the team and what we need, and maybe what's needed for him to flourish. Do you think there's another level for him to go?
100%. I think, if anything, what this season has shown me is that any preconceived ideas I had of Ødegaard, I have to go back to the drawing board, because I think with all the comparisons with the special O in the name and, you know, the type of player they was, we just linked, like, you know, likened very heavily to Mesut Ozil. But I think he's way more different than him. I think what he's shown is that I'm an attacking 10, I'm an assisting 10. You know, he can be, you see him, his pressing is really good. He gets back every now and then. His all-round game just shows me that this guy can really be, you know, and he's not like a De Bruyne, but he can definitely have those sort of figures. You know, if anything, his assisting kind of suffered this year. He was more selfish. He was shooting more, especially the distance shooting. There's so many times where, if you could imagine Ozil in a certain position, I think about the goal from Tottenham when he slapped it in from like 30 yards. I think Ozil was looking for another pass there. And this isn't to put a slight on Ozil. Ozil's one guy I just don't think I can ever hate. I just love the way he played football. But I think you can tell that this is someone who's actually, he wants to get goals. As the captain, he wants to set an example and be like, yeah, okay, I'm leading the way. I'm not trying to pass the buck to somebody else to kind of do that and just be happy with it. I have to do this. So I think the ceiling's almost, you know, it's open for him. He could be whatever he wants to be. And yeah, I think he could definitely go to another level. I think he will go to another level. I think next season, we always say it's about obtain and maintain, but I think for him, it might just be obtain and just kind of go again and be like, you know what, maybe I can get to closer to 20 goals. You know, I don't know if he got any goals in other competitions. I'm not sure, but you know, can he push that to maybe 20 all comps and get 10 assists or something like that, or more? You know, so yeah, I just think there's definitely so much more to get from him. And the captain decision, the 30 million or 35 that we paid for him is looking like chump change. You know, absolute chump change. So yeah,
I said it, I think, in the last pod, that, you know, as good as Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and now Bellingham looks as a future 3 for Real Madrid, like Real Madrid like the Ødegaard type player. Yeah. So, you know, just as culturally in their tradition, this is what they like. So to think they, you know, invested the money they did, gave him 30 grand a week at 16 years old, kept him there for such a period, and it didn't really come to fruition. I mean, they would have still made a profit on him, but like, yeah, definitely one that got away, and we're reaping the benefits of it right now. Do you think, obviously, you know, we think he can get better, but he's got a lot more, I think, to think about next season with, you know, he's going to have some good players possibly behind him in Declan Rice, maybe Caicedo, if we can get them both, we'll see. But obviously it looks like more time is going to be promised to Smith Rowe. There's going to be definitely an expectation that Vieira in his second season is getting more of an opportunity. Now, of course, Ødegaard's captain and he'll have that preference, especially off the back of this last season. But is it more of a, I need to make sure I maintain my level? Because deep down, I don't think that Arteta necessarily cares. If you're captain, cool, but if you're not playing well, I will take you out the team, sort of thing. And like I say, there's Smith Rowe and Vieira in the wings waiting. Do you think that's something that Ødegaard needs to be aware of?
100%. I think even just from what we see from Arteta, we can even say sometimes we think he's too ruthless, but it definitely feels like there's no certainty in places, maybe other than just Saka. Because that guy, don't rest him. But I don't think it would be naive of Ødegaard to think that because I'm captain and because I had this good season that I'll play all the time, because many a time Ødegaard's been the first sub that's come off as well. So, you know, there's definitely a lot for him to continue to build on this. Obviously, we can talk about the strengths or the pros to rotation and stuff like that, but it should be just that. It shouldn't be, well, you know what, Jesus has been wearing the captain's armband for 5 weeks now because Ødegaard can't get back into the team. It's not a good look as captain, and what that does for your psyche. You know what I mean? There's certain players where if they're not playing regularly, it's definitely going to be like it's not like, who else could I even say? If someone like Partey comes out of the team, we feel it, but it doesn't feel like it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, is he going to leave now? You know, it just feels more like, well, you've been a bit dead, mate. You know, take a seat. But if that was happening to Ødegaard or a Saka, or even, you know, even with Martinelli, he's kind of on the border as well, but he's kind of asserted himself this season.
Yeah.
You know, so he definitely needs to sharpen up, in a sense where just keep on the good work, to be honest. And just one more thing, what you said about Madrid, like I just really thought about it. If you just picture what Ødegaard did this season, you know, maybe even less, maybe some of the goals, but more so the way he maneuvers the ball. If you saw him in a Madrid shirt, would he not be coveted by the whole world? Like him, like being like a Galactico. You could just see it, that every time you watch Madrid in the Champions League game and you'd see Ødegaard doing the way he moves the ball, everyone would be like, oh my gosh, like, oh, imagine you had him in his team. But I think because he's at Arsenal now, it's just the gloss is off it, you know, a little bit. But I could just imagine if he was doing what he was doing in a Madrid shirt and he had the 8 or the 10 on his back, he'd be like, he'd be hot property. He'd just be, you know, oh my gosh, like how maybe the way people look at Vinicius. And it's not to take away but from the talent. Of course, the talent is there, but I just think sometimes the shirt you're wearing can kind of
big
dampen it. Yeah, you know,
fact, like you said, Real Madrid, which is a great example. But I'll go closer to home. If he was in a United shirt, if he was in a Liverpool shirt, you know, those kind of traditional British clubs, they'll be hailing him, of course. So it's whatever. Like I don't need the whole world to tell me that my captain's sick. Like I know that, innit? I watch him every week, so that's calm. But yeah, you're bang on with that.